And as this ball goes through to Luna, Freeman joins him, and for the first time in the match, Freeman had a touch in the final third. This is what you want, and it eventually, the United States, the U.S. men's national team have beaten Saudi Arabia and therefore advanced to the knockout rounds of the Gold Cup. Now, after beating Trinidad and Tobago 5-0, it was going to be more interesting to see how they did against a proper opponent, and Saudi Arabia were just that. They were very well organized, and so in this video, what we're going to do is break down what happened in the first half, why it was so difficult for the U.S. to find a way through, where they were having some joy, and what tweak Pochettino made at halftime that actually gave the U.S. the platform to go and win this game. Welcome to Campfire Football. I'm Sebastian North. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please let me know what you think in the comment section. How's Poch doing with this team? I know there's a lot of mixed emotions on that. I'd love to hear you. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the clips and break down this match. So Pochettino rolled out the same starting 11 he had against Trinidad and Tobago. To me, the big thing was Freeman and Arfston, the right back and the left back. And this right here indicates really where they were in the first half. One was part of the back three, the other pushed on almost as a winger. And in some ways this worked, and in others it didn't. So I'll show you the different pieces of this. Arfston was open a lot because of the way Saudi Arabia were defending. They were basically pressing with one or two, but their midfield and their back line were extremely compact. So this ball right here was open all the time. And this is really the flank the U.S. attacked ad nauseum in the first half without much success, and I'll tell you exactly why. But the thing is, we needed to be a lot more quick in possession. I'm going to show you here how we could get ourselves into trouble. When we were building out, Saudi Arabia would press, but it wasn't really a hard press. They'd be kind of chasing, trying to guide us into an area, hoping we'd just make a mistake and turn it over. But here, as you can see, once Richards cuts inside and is able to get the ball back to Freeze, Saudi Arabia just give up. They're like, nope, they've basically broken our press. We can walk away. Now, when that happens, you do have to start moving the ball quicker. And so Tim Ream right here should play this ball out to Arfston now. Just break that first line of pressure, allow Arfston to go forward because he has so much room. Instead, when you dribble inside slowly and then pass the ball backwards, there's no one to Berhalter's left. He doesn't really have options. He ends up making a mistake, tries to drive through two players in the middle of the pitch, and loses the ball. That was really the danger. You have to move the ball quicker. But the thing is that the U.S. also, in build-out, had this back three, which is just overkill. There's three open dudes. You don't need this many. You should probably go with two. And Freeman, I think, should have been on a similar line as Arfston, high and wide, more or less allowing Berhalter and De La Torre to drop if needed. But having your right back so narrow means that you just don't attack the right flank barely at all. And when you make this kind of pass here, it doesn't change anything. Richards plays the ball 10 yards over to Freeman, but yeah, Saudi Arabia don't care. They're just going to keep staying in the same area. So what's Freeman going to do? Well, he's going to play the ball to the open player looking for Arfston. Now, that one was short, poorly hit, but again, that is a clear example of which ball was on. Now, the thing is that the U.S. created danger by going side to side, and here, Luna plays it into De La Torre, and immediately this ball should go into Berhalter so that he can get it out to Tillman. It just takes such a long time. Eventually, the ball goes out to Tillman. Now, this is what you want, because if you're in these kind of advanced positions getting the ball wide, you can cross it in, and you've got Ajimang making a run inside. This cross is good. It's about 1 foot away from Ajimang's head. That would happen a couple more times in the half when the U.S. got into these positions in wide areas. Once again, ball into the middle. They play it out wide to Arfston. Look at all the space he's got. Now, my complaint about Arfston in the first half, though I think he did a great job with his movement, was when he would get the ball, he would almost always start to carry it inside, and you're just dribbling at two players. If he would get the ball and just drive hard down the sideline, he'd be able to advance. And now look, the U.S. is just kind of surrounded by 3 Saudi defenders, and they're lucky to keep the ball. The key is to shift the ball quickly, see if you can get Saudi Arabia to chase in one area, and then you can create numerical advantages. There's your 2v1 in the middle. Berhalter to De La Torre. He plays it forward and starts to run. The ball goes out from Luna to Arfston, and once again, we now have this issue of being out wide, but not being aggressive enough. Now, I think De La Torre should keep his run going, offer the underlapping run ball ahead from Arfston, but he could also just run away and let Arfston be 1v1. The thing is that basically De La Torre stops his run, Arfston slows down and allows the Saudi defenders to double up on him. Here again, Richards gets the ball, finds the switch out to Arfston. Look at all this time. I mean, he should immediately start driving at that defender. He's already got Luna up with him. They could combine, but again, he sort of slowly carries it inside, and so therefore, as Saudi Arabia shift, he's got to go back and go the other way. Now look, the U.S. were solid for the first 20 minutes, not much cutting edge in attack, but they weren't really giving Saudi Arabia anything. And then all of a sudden, Saudi Arabia, over the span of 10 minutes, would get 3 chances all in one area. So the first one here, big ball just gets cleared out. Freeman gets underneath it, doesn't win the header, and Saudi Arabia can advance. Now, they bring players forward, nice little ball into the underlapping run, and the shot is on target. Now, it's very weak, and Freese makes an easy save, but that was the first warning shot. If Saudi Arabia have the ability to have time on the ball, they might be able to pick a dangerous pass. And so this is my problem with the U.S. press sometimes. Everyone's just kind of up close, but no one's putting any pressure. Like, go and try and create some kind of chaos here, Tillman. I mean, watch, the guy falls down without anyone even near him. But as the ball gets shifted across, once again, no one's pressing. I think Ajiman needs to go and see if he can force the ball off the defender's foot. Instead, look how much time this guy is. He's like, I won't go that way, and I'll look up. Ooh, I see something. The entire U.S. midfield is up, and there's a massive gap between them and the back line. The big switch goes over the top, and now Freeman is 2-on-1. Now Saudi Arabia pour guys forward. They switch to the other side. The cross comes in and Richards deals with it, but then they would get the best chance of the game. And this would once again be a slow press. The ball comes here, just go at him quicker, because look how much time he has to look up and hit this ball. And I'm not sure if he mishits this, but either way, Jack McGlynn too high up. He needs to be a little bit deeper to help, because Freeman's 2v1 over here. So the dummy beats him, and now Saudi Arabia are in. And this is where Chris Richards made a huge tackle. I mean, he blocks that, it goes out for a corner, but the view from behind the attacker showed that that ball was going in the far corner. This was a game-saving challenge from the man who would eventually get the game winner. But the U.S. would finish the half all right. I mean, the thing is that we want to see more aggression. The thing is that we want to see them be more aggressive when they attack. This is what you like from De La Torre. Driving forward past one, drawing in another defender, getting it off your foot, and now everything is just opened up. Berhalter has the easy pass out to McGlynn, and now 3 guys, De La Torre, Ajimang, and Luna are all running into the box. Fantastic job by McGlynn to cross this in, and it's 1 foot away from Ajimang. I mean, that's another great ball. Second time in the game now that a cross from wide has almost gotten him in. Now, I talked about Freeman needing to be higher. Right here, he is in a great position. I don't think he needs to come back. Bareem starts to come forward with the ball, doesn't really see anything, so he decides, okay, let's just go the other way. Now, this is where I'm saying, if Freeman was wide, Richards could just play this ball out to him, and Freeman could connect with McGlynn. Instead, look where Freeman gets. He's now behind the ball. This is not what you want. And actually, Saudi Arabia start to step a little bit here, and as this ball comes out to Reem, a little bit of a hole opens. So it worked out in this scenario, but that's the ball that you want to be able to find. Into a midfielder, through the lines, bump the ball back out to your wide player. But Arston, once again, should be driving down the line or looking to return that ball to De La Torre. Instead, again, he cuts it back, and this time, it's exactly what Saudi Arabia want. They create the turnover. And in contrast, when Arston gets this ball and he's got time and space, though Arston can't get this ball across and he releases it off his foot, the U.S. are rebuilding in a very good advanced position. And look how compact Saudi Arabia are here. The wide areas are completely open. And so this time, Reem finds that little split pass to Arston, and now he's in a really dangerous position. The ball across is great, and for the 3rd time in the half, Ajimang is about 1 foot away from a tap-in. So we go into the half 0-0, and at halftime, Mauricio Pochettino would make a tweak that I think made a big difference. And it was a smart thing to do. It was the right thing to do. Send Freeman a little higher. That was the first point that had to be addressed. Here you go. Freeman's crossing the halfway line. So that's the first adjustment. Now what you can see is the second one. Berhalter has dropped into his spot. Now, the reason this is good is because Berhalter, being a central midfielder, is going to be far more comfortable dribbling into the midfield and distributing from there. Freeman, being a right back, is probably more willing to be on the touchline, receiving the ball and going forward. And that also gives you the ability to attack both sides. The other thing is that with Freeman up high, you'd see McGlynn sort of sit deeper into the middle. So just a slight change of positions, but basically the structure stayed the same. Now here, Reem goes into Tillman. He could maybe flick it around the corner. Instead, he goes back. Arfston's going up the side. It's through to him. It's a pretty decent ball, but because it's high, it allows Saudi to come back. Okay, no big deal. Let's go the other way. This time the ball comes to Berhalter. He fakes looking out to Freeman and comes inside. And this is what having a central midfielder coming from that defensive position offers you. He's more willing to drive in here, and he also has the passing ability. And as this ball goes through to Luna, Freeman joins him, and for the first time in the match, Freeman had a touch in the final third. This is what you want, and it eventually would create the game winner. But it just made a huge difference to have McGlynn tuck inside as well. He got to see more of the ball. Here, he connects with De La Torre. De La Torre receives it, and also because Arston was such a threat in the first first half, you could see Saudi Arabia started to move out a little towards him. Well, now Luna could get wide and receive the ball and be able to immediately advance. He is going to drive at defenders, unlike Arston. And right there, yes, that one goes out for a goal kick. But the intent from the U.S. at the beginning of the second half was great, and it eventually would pay off with the goal. And here's where it all starts. Reem gets the ball, plays it out wide to Arston. He starts to advance, and those Saudi Arabia are able to get back quickly. Take a look at Freeman. He's wide open on the far side. So we can go out the other way. It comes into Berhalter. He gets it off his foot quick enough to go into Freeman, and now it's simple. Just take it forward. Drives inside, gets fouled, and it's a free kick. Now, there would be substitutions right after that foul, but Berhalter would step up, whip it in, and Richards would get there with his foot, plant it home, and the U.S. win 1-0. So you have to give credit to the players for delivering. They won the match 1-0, but you also have to give some props to Pochettino for the slight change he made. This goal was scored before the subs came on, but that little tweak he made at halftime of dropping Berhalter into the back line and pushing Freeman up is literally the thing that created the situation where they got the free kick and eventually scored the goal. So props to the team. There will be tougher tests ahead. They will have their final group stage game against Haiti, and then they will go into a knockout round match against either Costa Rica or Mexico. So we'll check back again then. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by. I'm Sebastian North. This is Campfire Football. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.